My dad is the reason I get my back wax.
What is this, an Oscar speech? Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the listeners, the viewers on YouTube.
Or Happy New Year's Eve if you're listening, if you're a subscriber.
We just had a whole discussion about how I go to European Wax Center and get my back wax like every month now.
Yes, your most consistent relationship.
Well, and then I've, had a consistent wax technician who I invited. We start talking. She came to the show.
Plug City.
Someone
City. Wants to request her.
If you want to go to, should I request her?
I mean, you could.
Is that does it help her business? Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Samantha at the European Wax Center
open her own
on
shop.
LaGuardia. Yeah.
At LaGuardia Airport?
Yeah, I go to the airport no.
I mean actually, it would make sense for you. You like get a wax and then you hop on the plane.
If Delta Sky Club had a waxer, it would really help.
A wax technician, we just learned.
Right, we looked this
up.
A waxer. If I could wax on about the wax technician at the LaGuardia. If the Delta Sky Club had one, it would actually improve my life pretty. Maybe Samantha should open a shop there.
At the airport.
Yeah. But I got to say, the European Wax Center is like, they don't even sponsor the show anymore. They used to sponsor the show. And for
you can always come back.
My dad is the reason I get my back wax.
What is this, an Oscar speech?
I want to thank my dad for getting me into the back waxing. My dad, strangely... Maybe not strangely, but we are a very big spa family.
I mean, it's nice. I think more men should embrace it. Mike is not like that. It's it's hard for me to get him to do anything.
So you don't think it would be a good gift for a man to be like, what would make, would it turn you? I think what women need to do, if I'm to give an opinion to women that wasn't asked for, is to sexualize more things.
Okay.
I think when you say go get your back wax, Like you fucking loser. It's disgusting.
That's how I say it.
Right. Hey, fuddy-duddy dad never gets sexualized.
Right.
So it's like,
if you're give me the script.
Hey. Oh man, you know what would turn me on? If you got the I'm just saying, you don't think that? I think that you have to speak to the man's boner.
Okay, I like that.
That is the resolution.
I'm going to try that.
Should have this podcast.
You just gave me a new resolution. It's my 2025 resolution.
Be a boner whisperer.
Sexualize it.
Sexualize your man.
Okay.
I have some resolutions for dating for 2025.
Let's hear it.
My resolution is to stop asking.
How many do you have?
35.
Okay. Gonna be here all night.
No, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
These are my 8
resolutions. That's a lot. Okay.
That's right. Okay. I'm gonna stop asking how was your weekend?
On apps.
On apps or in general. I'm done asking how was your weekend.
Okay, you don't give a shit about how anyone's weekend is.
Fuck your weekend.
Right.
That
is the worst question.
It's just not interesting. I don't care. Here, I'm changing it to something more as vague but different. Anything exciting going on?
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, better.
Just better. Again, stays in positive. Anything exciting going on?
When do you stop asking that?
It would be a fun bit. Like if you're married 50 years, you're still like, anything exciting going on?
It's like, yeah, you're coming.
Yeah.
We're going to Home Depot on Saturday to pick out flooring.
You know everything about me.
Yes.
I don't know when I would stop asking that.
Anything
I think
exciting? Well, when to me, it's almost like I'm not making a plan with you. So you tell me if anything exciting is coming up.
Okay. Yeah. To the cynic.
Well, I'm saying early in dating, it's like,
Sure. I guess I'm asking it to because the conversation can go anywhere.
Right. Are you asking it to see if they're free?
No. Just, we're on the date. I think more.
Oh, you're on the date. Okay.
I'm just saying on the app, on the date. I was more thinking on the date, but
I think when you're on the app,
what are you excited about?
When you're on the app or texting early, I feel like that's a question to see if you're free this weekend.
Oh, you're right. Context is important because if we were talking,
Right.
and then I was like, anything exciting going on this weekend? It's me feeling her out.
Right.
To
seeing
like,
how your schedule's looking.
Right.
It would be annoying if I told you and then I was, because sometimes you're like, oh, not much going on, like just hanging out, and then they don't ask you to do anything. You're like leaving it open for them to ask, but then they don't.
And I've done that, so I'm not saying that's wrong.
Well, I'm not hanging out with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess you're busy, so I'll text you at 11,
Right.
but I think to thank you for the note, only on dates.
Fair.
Anything exciting going on.
Okay.
Are you excited about anything? And if someone asks me that question, I'd have to be ready to answer it too, because someone's going to go, what's exciting in your life?
What do you usually say? A couple shows?
I'm going to Miami to drink alone and cheers the moon.
With my girlfriend.
With my phone. Okay. Only go on dates I'm excited about.
Love that one.
That's a resolution.
Okay. Do you have, that's a little, I like that one. Now, I know I just said I loved it, but now I'm like, it's a little subjective.
It's a little subjective.
Right.
There can be different reasons to be excited for a date. You could be excited to leave the house. You could be excited to go on a date in general. You could be excited about the person. You could be excited about the place you're going.
How do you know if you're excited or not? You know? Do you always know?
I know.
You always know?
If I'm convincing myself into going, then Jared, you shouldn't go. And I've done that.
And you'll know. Because I would imagine for some people it's like, well, I don't know if I'm excited. I'm like, not sure. Am I into it? Maybe not.
Yeah,
then you don't. Then that's a good one.
I know, and I think if you don't know if you're excited, you're not excited.
Okay.
I think excitement. When you feel good, you're dressing up. You're like, I'm going out. Like I sometimes you go on a date, you're just excited to just go and be
out and about.
Yeah. Like I think the person can be irrelevant.
Okay.
Sometimes.
All right.
Starting every date, if it comes up,
if you're excited,
I'm excited, and I don't know what I'm looking for.
You say that. Yeah. If it comes up.
I am done saying I'm looking for a relationship.
Okay.
I think.
Didn't you just say that on the Thanksgiving episode? the 7-year anniversary one?
I think it adds too much pressure. I think no man.
He's retracting.
I'm taking it back.
Retraction.
I don't think any man should ever tell a woman he wants a relationship. That's my hot take for 2025.
Unless.
No, because,
he really does.
Because then what it does, it becomes so much more personal than it is. And I'm saying this for me. It is personal. Right. I don't want to date you.
It is personal.
I'm looking, but this ain't it. It's so personal that I actually feel so bad about it. And I don't mean that there's a lot of ego involved in that. I understand, but I do think.
I think this one we need to work on.
Okay.
Because I do think it's personal, and that's okay. It's personal, right?
I know.
It hurts a little bit. It's personal. We can't let's not pretend that it's not what it is. Being rejected is personal. It's hurtful.
You think, but you have even said, don't you think it's okay to have a little lie? Like it's okay to say we don't have to be that honest with each other. I'm just saying.
I think it's okay to lie, but I think to say it's not personal is not true. But you don't have to say that to them. But I think on this show, we can't pretend that being rejected doesn't feel personal. It's not like they're especially when the person. It's fine. It wouldn't be personal if you ended something with someone and then didn't go on another date for 6 months because you were truly not looking for something.
Well,
let's say, right?
So okay, and I do think,
and it's okay that it's personal.
But what you're doing is very relatable because what you're doing right now, and this is what a lot of women that I have dated do.
Okay.
It is chop my fucking head off.
Of course.
Tell me there's no chance. You're saying there's a chance. You want the person to go, fuck no, fuck you, get the fuck away from me, you disgusting bitch.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
Okay, when I was away, when I was in Anguilla with my friends, and you texted me something that you had crafted, right, as a message,
a dating text,
or as a dating text to someone, and then I was like, let me crowdsource this.
Sure. So you asked the group.
Yes. What would you think of getting this?
You're welcome for the gift of a great beach conversation.
I appreciated it.
You're welcome.
We all apprecited it.
Now I know I am a big part of this trip.
And the overwhelming response to that text was, you are being too vague. Don't say, don't.
Take the hint.
No, it was like, the person reading this will think that there's a chance you come back. And that goes to what you're saying. And this is a group of women all saying the same thing.
They're all agreeing.
Like,
with
what does he want?
Right. Right. And I know what you hear on the internet is all piece of shit or nice person.
Right.
Most people just want to feel comfortable and not be mean.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand. I agree. And listen, I asked you for a note on the text, so I am asking for advice. I'm not, it's not like you just like I showed you and you're like, what an idiot, you loser.
No.
And you're telling me what these women,
right.
a group of women, are all sitting there saying the same thing. So I understand this is a problem. Mm-hmm. This is kind of why I want to run away from this. And I kind of want to like start every day because I truly feel this. And I know nobody wants to hear this.
Let's hear it.
Nobody likes, I can't believe this show has gone on for as long as it has because
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Because no one likes the opinion of a straight single man as he gets older. No one wants to hear from me.
And I'll give you your rebuttal.
Right. I want to go out and have fun and keep having fun. And somehow that fun, I Mr. Magoo my way into this beautiful relationship.
So you don't want to do it intentionally.
Right. I do think a lot of men say they want a relationship, but the way they want to get to it is in this like, oh, we're 3 years in? Like
they want to get that way. I thought they're like scared of that they didn't choose this life.
No,
that this life chose them.
I think it's like that you're rolling along with it. And it just, if you hear from anyone that's like especially women, when you hear from them, when it was good, it was just so easy.
Right.
When you hear from women who like finally find their person,
right?
You hear them, they're like, it was just so easy because like the guy they're with, he's rolling along.
Yeah.
There is no what are we? There is.
But isn't that a certain kind of guy? Maybe.
No, I think
you don't think it's a certain kind of guy.
The dream is that I am that guy at some point.
Maybe.
Without stomach churning. You know what I mean? So when I start with, I'm looking for a relationship. I do think this resolution needs to be worked on, but like I think there's a way to start dating.
Okay.
With an open and honest conversation of like, we can go out and have this like really fun night, and it might not, and go out a few times, and maybe we just don't end up as the one. Like
I think that's a good thing for you to say because that is true for you.
Very true for me. Right. I'm a good first date.
Yes, you're a good first date, and here's the thing: you're setting you're setting a low expectation,
right?
And any woman who goes out with you, if I went on a date with a guy and I heard that, and I'm looking for something serious and I'm looking for it to move fairly quickly, I might not go out with you again.
Okay,
which is good.
That's good.
That's a good thing, right?
And again, like that gives me the ability for it to move quickly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to go slow with the option for quick.
Sure, but you're setting the expectation. They should expect slow if they be pleasantly surprised if it's not. And
right.
Someone might not want to stick around for that, which is fine.
Right, and I do think if I go slow, that's me saying I'm not excited and I should stop going out with them. Agreed. So I think that's right. Like me knowing
everyone's
inside.
on the same page.
Right. All right, let's do more. These resolutions. I saw a note, and I'm not trying to bring up negative here. Enough of Jared's dating woes. At some point, I'm getting in a relationship. We can lean on the emails. the idea that this, I think this is
very
relatable.
Content.
Okay, good. Okay, lose 10 pounds.
Okay,
that is a dating
related.
Yes, it is.
Why?
I think.
Do you feel
think you feel good in your pants. You feel good in the dance. That's that's my line.
Do you feel like you would go attract more people?
No, it's not about attracting more.
It's not about others, but you.
No. The idea that someone wrote to me, they. If you think I'm calling myself fat all the time, you have misunderstood my whole comedy routine. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think of myself a loser. I have confidence, but I have the insecurities that I think most people have.
Sure.
Someone was like, Jared, you look fine. What are you trying to, unless you want to get abs to attract a different type of woman. I'm like, no, I don't believe that I'm abs away from this, like, next level. I think that's like a horrific way of talking about
women
looks.
think that about themselves often.
Well, I would say women are wrong. Okay. Make that a ringtone.
Soundbite.
Women are wrong. No, I just think that the looks are about how you feel.
Right.
And I think, my new line that I just invented off the top of my head, if you feel better in your pants, you will dance. So I think I'd like to I think when you get ready for a date and you feel good in the clothes you have, you feel that might be someone out there is like, what are you? Now I'm like,
how are you going to lose 10
woman with
pounds?
Weight Watchers. That brings me to the next one.
Well, they say a good resolution is like time bound and specific. So.
Well, I guess I was going to say, stop getting a debrief drink.
Okay.
Sometimes
There's 10 pounds right there.
I think that's 10 pounds.
Yeah.
My debrief drink.
What is a debrief drink?
Sometimes I'll go to a bar and I'll get done with shows and I'll be like, let's just have one drink to mellow it out.
Okay.
And I think I got to stop doing that drink.
Why don't you make a resolution to only drink with others?
Then I'd have nothing to do.
And others does not include your phone.
Okay. I do think I have come to notice, and this is a bad thing, the phone drink combo, I'm acting the way people act when they have a cigarette outside of work.
Okay.
I do have that
phone in your drink. Right.
I have a rush of numb come over my body.
We
all
have that when we think of something that we do. Mine is dinner and Real Housewives. I can finally let go of my body. Yes.
And just get soupy.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think I got to stop the debrief drink. I think you're right. Drinking with others. That's a good resolution. Okay. I'm going to be a better listener.
I think you listen.
I think so too.
Forget that one.
What?
Fuck that one.
No, I want to be a better listener. I sometimes try to fill the air.
Okay.
I think sometimes it's okay to have some quiet. And
Quiet's scary.
Especially a first date. I think sometimes a first date, it'd be I'm just keep the ball in the air.
Right.
And it's not a real person is my thing.
Well, I think, that's one of your skills, I think, is you're great at making sure there's no awkward pauses or lulls. And I would always say that when people would ask when we started doing those You Up shows, and obviously you're a performer.
Right.
And that's not my thing necessarily. So people would say, you get nervous? How do you feel up there? And I would say I get a little nervous, but I know Jared's up there and
they're never, that. That's
no, but nice. I would say he knows how to it's never going to be awkwardly quiet. How to fill a space. It's a skill. It's a skill of yours.
I'm a pretty good host.
Yes.
And that comes with, I hosted at the Cellar for 7 years and doing shows where it's keep it in the air, keep people happy, get people used to the show.
That's why you're a great first date too.
Yeah, I do think that's part, but I think I need to be less that because I'm not even getting a chance. I'm too busy making
entertaining others.
Right.
You're like the host.
Right.
You can't just sit down.
Right. Do you need anything? Are you okay? It's it's the date version of that. So I think I want to do that. So that was better listener, better.
Okay.
More quiet on dates. And that sounds counterintuitive.
Maybe you need to be a worse first date.
Yeah,
in that way.
I think so.
Right.
I think you're right. Okay, my next one because we're going long here. Louder lover.
A louder lover.
This is my.
Okay, you want to make more.
Well, I
noise.
want to make less noise on the date. I want to make more noise in the bedroom.
Okay.
Okay. Stop. That's my last one. I thought. I'm kidding.
No, that was not real.
I was just I was just.
maybe that's something that that's okay if that's a personal.
No,
I don't know if the listeners are going to get as much of an insight into.
I'm trying to weird out the room as much as possible since our Christmas episode.
Our Christmas episode got weird.
We haven't heard the feedback yet. I am excited.
I'm excited too.
But it was
fun.
Resolution.
That was a fun, weird episode. Very weird. I think those are great resolutions. Thank you for sharing them. I'm sure they'll inspire some other people's resolutions.
Yeah, so there's quiet lovers out there. Get loud.
I think these are great. These are personal to you, but also relatable.
I think if you're out there, it did help me to make this list, to talk this out. Mm-hmm. I think making dating resolutions would be helpful.
Agreed.
Let's get to the emails.
Let's do it.
Let's do some emails. We're going to we're not going to do an awkward encounter this week just because this is like
we did some resolutions.
Right, that was awkward. Yeah. And then, but also this is like the biggest dating day of the year. So we want to go through like dating questions.
Yes.
Like we want to really, and there's some good questions.
Get you guys ready for 2025. 2025 is going to be your year.
It's going to be our year.
Our year.
Let's do it.
All of our years. Despite what Kelly said.
That's right.
She was. I kept thinking about that. She was like, "You're gonna have a super mediocre year, 2025.
It's gonna be even Steven."
Right? Absolutely nothing.
When did that one come out? I'm so confused on dates.
I think it came out on last Friday.
Great episode with Kelly. It is. I walked away from that. I was like, it is so weird how much I believe everything she says.
Same, yeah. I'm like, am I? And it's like we're the two people who like shit on that kind of stuff too.
Such haters.
I know.
And that means she's really good at what she does.
Yeah.
It is.
And we'll see if we have the mediocre year she promised.
Well, she said the special gets sold.
That's true.
She was, and I'm like,
that sounds great, like a great year.
But also, you've made like a concrete like prediction.
Yes.
Like that's like
lot to
pass or fail.
Put your word on for the masses.
So that's why I was like, wow, for you to put your name on that. like you really believe this.
Yeah,
thing.
And we're both getting our own bitches, right?
We're getting our own bitches.
There we go.
Where are you, bitches?
We're ready for you. There we go. All right, let's do an email.
Let's do it.
J&J, long time.
Hold on. I'm in Portland, Oregon this weekend, then Phoenix, Arizona, and Montreal. Then I come to New Zealand, Australia, Rochester, New York. There's a chance, Tampa. There's a chance, North Carolina. But
you're done for the year.
I'm done for the year.
As when we're recording this.
Right now, I'm in that Florida sun. Well, let's go to the email.
All right. Let's do it. All right. J&J, longtime subscriber, listener, first-time caller, love you both. Curious both of your thoughts on the premise that for a long-term relationship, the most important aspect is a singular vision that two people share of their future lives. Things like...
If you weren't ready for the new year, this email hit you right in the smack in the face.
2025. Things like vision boarding apparently create happier and healthier long-term relationships as two people are working towards a shared vision versus just attraction and chemistry. Jared, does this give you more or less faith, confidence, anxiety in your search for a partner? Jordana, do you agree with this premise? Do you and your husband create your shared vision of your life together? Curious Betch.
Do you have a vision board with Mike?
Oh my God. No.
This is...
A vision board?
I don't know. I didn't know this was a thing.
No, we do not have a vision board. I think that if you're making a vision board, like you're making something into work that can be fun. That's not right. Talking about your future together, yes. Vision boarding, no.
Yeah, this seems
should be natural. It should be more natural than this.
This is one of those things from my perspective. I don't mean to sound bad, but it is something. This is something that came up amongst women. That one woman said she was doing
vision boarding.
Yeah, and the rest of the women like didn't want to sound like they were working on their relationship less, so they were like a little embarrassed and they were just like nodding along. And now this king woman gets to decide that like vision boarding is a thing. Like this is actually ridiculous to me. Like I don't know one human being that is like, well, we vision boarded our mortgage together. Like I just think. Should a couple have realistic talks about what they see for the future together? Of course, right.
Naturally, as you would if you're like a real person in a real relationship.
Right. The idea, like, I think this is like in the... this emailer, I like them because they're obviously very concerned.
They're doing something wrong.
Right.
Or not doing something that they should be.
Right. And they're like way ahead of themselves. Like, this is the type of thing... Do I like?
Well, if you're running into an issue with people you're dating where you're on totally different pages at points where you didn't realize that, you need to communicate better.
Right. You got to
take
some
of the vision board.
You got to take some of the responsibility, and I think this is like one of those things that like you create this vision board thing. So okay, we're doing it. You know, it's like in place of like an uncomfortable conversation with someone. Like, you know, date one. If I went on a date with a girl, date one. And I was like, anything exciting going on? She's like, fuck your question. I want kids. I want to move to the suburbs. And I want to retire in Saint-Tropez.
Okay. How do you feel?
I think she'd be totally like valid in saying that on a first date. Like, I don't think there's not like, whoa, easy. When do you suck on my ball? Like, I don't think I'm like gonna like, I would never look at someone
Would
and
you think
think
it was hot?
I would think it was, I would admire it.
Okay.
As far as like the gusto, the confidence of like, you're gonna let me chew on that.
Right.
I'm gonna chew on it. I know that this person's for real, but like I think vision boards come from people who dated someone that they were afraid to talk to.
Right. And then this was like a way to like get that. It's like those like sex games.
Right.
It's like,
how do I get your finger in my asshole? It's like, pick a card.
I have a game.
Yeah.
No, I think that's, I mean, it's again, like if you need the board, I think you're not good at communicating.
Right. What would you say to this person? You know, do you agree? They asked do you agree with the premise?
I think I think a vision board is for yourself. So if you don't bring anyone else into your shit. If you have goals that you have for 2025 and it's easier for you to like feel like motivated by them if you see them every day on a board for the magazine cutouts that you pick out and you cut out. Don't bring this into relationships are supposed to be fun and relaxed. Getting what you want, fine. Create a board.
Well, I think they're fun and
I'm okay with them with like for yourself, but I don't think they need to be like a couples thing.
I agree with you. You said something very important. Relationships are meant to be fun and relaxed. I think you have fun and relax when you're in a structure that you trust.
Right.
So what's the structure? It's not very difficult. It's not that new. It's not that like interesting. Do you want kids? Do you want to get married?
Yes.
When do you see yourself getting married? Do you want to live in a city or a suburb? You said something very important. Relationships are supposed to be fun and relaxed. I think they're more fun and more relaxed when you're under a structure of like the tent pole items.
Right.
Kids, where are you going to live? Are you going to get married? How do you see the future? Like all these things that they're talking about on a vision board that like, I guess you could play a game and like, let's do vision board night. Like that'd be fun, but that'd be a little bit like contrived. Like, I think like, you know, owning those things right off the bat,
yeah, totally. And those are, again, like, I think those conversations are fun if you're with someone who wants to have them with you. Right. And if they don't, and you're trying to create a vision board, I think that's like your issue is you're not reading what's going on.
Right.
I'll always be like to my, where do you want to retire? Like that's fun. That's a fun, like exciting conversation to just like dream about.
Right. Have you thought about it? And maybe they go, I haven't thought about it. I think everyone's had a passing thought,
right,
of like what life is to them at a later space. I don't know,
especially by a certain age,
right? But I think this question lives in the land of like, please tell me I'm not a fool for saying I want kids, or like, you know, like I think that's where maybe they've been in relationships where like I have no idea what they're thinking. Well, that means you have to say what you're thinking.
Right. And say it, I think, as early as you, like you said, as early as you want. Like, that's that book Attached that I talked about, like, really advocates for that. Like, whatever your needs are, those are your needs. It doesn't mean they're good or bad. Those are your needs. So finding out early enough if the person can match them and meet them is like ideal.
Yeah. Let's do another email.
Let's do it.
UUP@betches.com. Keep sending your emails. We love that these are like new year, new me type of emails.
I'm going to help you out. All right.
I like this one. J&J, love the podcast, although I believe I fall into the older age bracket of your listeners. Anyways, I'd really appreciate your advice.
I don't think that they're, maybe they do fall into the older bracket, but we welcome the olds.
Yeah, we welcome the olds.
Our fastest growing demo.
I would say... They say, the email writes, I'm a woman in my mid-40s. Okay. Let's not put a label on this, but she has already done that.
Sure.
I think
by just even saying that?
I think this is like one of those things that a lot of people do, and she's already doing it. She's already telling us what our demographics are. Right. She doesn't know.
Well, she's calling herself old, I guess, yeah.
And it's like, you don't know who listens to our show. We don't release those numbers.
Right.
You know, like, who are you to make such an assumption? Like, come to my show.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. But it is, people do this to me a lot. Oh, you do that thing where you talk about the day, and it's like, oh, you know, they think they'll tell you what your demo is, and I'm like, I have a very good idea of our demo,
right?
Just from doing the shows, and it is not 22-year-old screaming idiot.
It's definitely not. Yeah.
So when she says I'm a little bit older, no, your mentality is very similar.
We've already found out your issue.
No, I know their issue. That first sentence tells me everything.
Answers in the email.
Everything. I'm a woman in my mid-40s. Recently, the man I loved, saw a future with, and had been dating for over a year, ended our relationship. It seemed to come from nowhere before the holidays and a major surgery I was facing. Beware of
major
holidays, major surgeries,
global
pandemics. Removals, global pandemics. I'm sorry to laugh. That is just such a tough time. I'm sorry. He abruptly decided to end things knowing our future plans, how I depended on him, and, well, the holidays. In hindsight, I realized I missed something, but honestly was completely blindsided and still searching weeks after the breakup. Heard you mention the sheep and wolves clothing and think that could possibly be that, plus the Phantom X. It doesn't matter. It's over. I don't know. She
really threw out like a bunch of words. Sometimes people do that where they hear a bunch of these terms.
Yeah.
And they kind of like say that we mean things that we don't mean at all.
The Phantom X, she's creating all these reasons why this ends. She's
right.
Again.
Nothing about this to me says wolf in sheep's clothing.
You dated someone who
didn't want to marry you.
And got a year in.
Right.
And said, holy shit, if we go through the holidays and this major surgery, I'm like in. Right.
To me, this is not, she's trying to paint this guy as a wolf in sheep's clothing. To me, this is just a guy.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It doesn't mean here's the thing. That doesn't mean she doesn't have a right to be very sad.
Right.
Even a little bit mad, very hurt. And I think this is like hard for a lot of people to do. It's like you can be mad and upset and sad and like feel hurt without someone being wrong.
I feel, and he might be wrong.
He might be.
You know, like,
but from what she's saying,
don't know.
From what she's saying, it doesn't sound wrong again, necessarily.
It's not a 30-year marriage.
Right. I would want someone to break up with me as soon as they didn't want to be with me. I wouldn't want them to be with me through my surgery and the holidays because they felt like bad for me. And then I find out they were with me that whole time because they felt bad for me. So for me, this is like a better thing than the other.
I agree with you. And way. and I'll say, like, listen, she's writing into us. She's pouring her heart out. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I think this is a very relatable issue, but like when you say we've been dating for over a year, okay, so over a year, and then you say
in your 40s means an engagement is coming or it's over.
Or an arrangement of a certain kind. Sure. We're going to be partners or whatever.
Fine, yeah.
And then you say he abruptly ended things knowing our future plans, how I depended on him. And it's like, if I dated someone who's in their mid-40s, I'm like, what type of dependent have you become?
Maybe she means about the surgery?
Maybe, but if I knew that I was like dependent on and I'm still not sure, that would be, to me, I'd be like, wow, we're on different pages. I'm not as in this as she's in this. And a reason to end it for me.
Yes.
So again, like, I understand she's blindsided. It's her situation. She's the star of this movie. It's not as blindsiding as.
Well, that's why I think we're both saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
Of like, this guy is not necessarily the monster that she's painting, but still hurtful, like bad situation, and right. I can sympathize and empathize with that.
Absolutely. So, heard you mention the sheeps and wolves clothing and think that could possibly be that plus the Phantom X. It doesn't matter. It's over. So she even says it's over. Right. It doesn't matter. Whatever my theories are, it's not the point. At this point in my life, I'm looking for a long-lasting, loving partnership, and I'm struggling with how to approach dating at my age. I'm curious if you could offer any insight or a timeline for someone in my situation/age range. How can I avoid being the lover girl at this stage of my life while still staying open to love? I really appreciate any thoughts or suggestions you might have. Thanks so much. Best, lover looking for more than a lover. What is a lover girl?
I was going to ask you that. Does she mean like someone guys just like sleep with and then don't commit to, don't want to marry? To me, that's sort of what she was implying. Like, how do I avoid being someone that isn't marriage material?
Right. I would look this up, but she's not in the age range of like buzz phrases.
Right.
You know, it's not like because she wrote.
I think
quotes,
it means like
lover girl, and I was like, it sounds like something that like maybe who's 25 would be like, it's a trend on TikTok. Like I was like the lover girl trend, but it doesn't really match. It
doesn't matter to match the description. Like in my mind, lover girl, and what she's saying is like someone that you're not. The closest I can think is someone that a guy would date but not marry. Right. And I know we've talked about this before, and you said like guys don't categorize things like that, but sometimes it feels like they do.
Guys are like, a lot of guys are just like short-term memory types, you know, like, again, like when she describes this guy, you know, bailing before the surgery, he's like, surgery, like he probably realized a week before the surgery. Fuck. Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm either got to do this now or I got to wait until after the surgery.
Right. I got to be bedside with her, you know, feeding, you know, changing the bedpan. Like, no way.
Right. And I do think, to speak for all women,
because
I do think that it's a disservice to ourselves that we complain both if they do things before and if men break up with us before and men break up with us after. There's no great time to be broken up with.
No.
And to me, my personal preference is to be broken up with as soon as someone realizes that they don't want to be with me. Yeah, I don't care what's going on.
Nothing feels worse than figuring out that you were in bed with someone disgusted by you.
Yeah, and I mean it doesn't even have to be that.
I know it's not. I'm making it extreme,
harsh,
but like when when you're out of it,
that didn't want to be there. That didn't want to. At a minimum, that just didn't want to be there.
You're right.
To me, that's like the worst thing. Like, you know, to feel like I'm somewhere with someone who doesn't want to be there is worse to me than like recovering from a surgery alone, spending the holidays alone. Like, I don't want to be somewhere in a false reality.
Yes, because then you go, how do you even trust yourself? You go, how was I so stupid? How did I not know? That's why people ask, when did you know? So that they can backtrack.
I always ask that.
They always ask, when did you know? And you have to be like, today. Because then it'll be like, then they'll bring up the one thing you did that was nice during the time before, like, in between you knowing and breaking up, like, and
why did you text me good morning?
Right. It's like, I was trying to.
No, but I do think we have to like let go of like the timing thing as like as a badge of being hurt.
Yeah. What do you advise this person? At this point in my life, I'm looking for a long-lasting, loving partnership. And I'm struggling with how to approach dating at my age.
I think that, like, again, like she keeps saying the age thing as if that's like, I mean,
a lot of assumptions.
Right. Going back to the manifesting conversation, I would say what you want on a date. That's all you can do. And you have to like understand that things won't work out. There's no way to stop things that aren't going to work out from not working out if they're not going to work out.
Right.
You can't control. I feel like that's what we want so badly. And a lot of these questions really come down to like, how do I control the future? How do I be a certain way so that like this doesn't happen to me again, so that I don't feel this pain again? And there's just like no real way to control that. And that sucks. And that's like a sad reality of dating at any age. It's like you can't, there's no way to like ensure that you won't be dumped again.
Right. You got to play in traffic if you want to get hit.
Yeah, but I think doing this thing, she's dated this guy. It didn't work out. She felt shitty. She's going to move on. And having that knowledge of like, okay, I felt sad. I got over it. I got back in the game. And I think if you know that about yourself, like, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be fine. That makes you a better dater.
Right. And she says, offer any insight of a timeline for someone in my situation / age range. I wouldn't give, if someone, to me, there's no age for I'm looking for a relationship. Like, I think the timeline, she's dating? To me, the timeline for someone who's 23 and says I'm looking for a relationship is the same as someone who's 43 and saying they're looking for a relationship. I
don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, what don't you agree with?
I think at 23, you are... There's less of like I think you're taking out the biological clock part of this, assuming that's something she cares about.
That's fair, but I'm saying I agree. Take that away. The feeling you get when you're in a fun relationship and the feeling you get when you're in a not fun relationship and why is this not working out? Why do I feel confused or hurt or less than myself? I think that happens at the same moment, whether you're 50 or you're 23. Like, When you're like, hey, let's go out. My friends and I are going to SantaCon this weekend. And the person's like, I got something going on, can't do it.
Because I'm 43.
Right. Well, the 23-year-old who wants to go to SantaCon and invites you to go and invites a guy to go or a girl to go, and they're like cagey.
Right.
That's the same feeling you get when you're 53 being like, hey, my friends and I are going to the old folks' home to play bridge.
Right.
You should join us. I'm kidding. I'm kidding to the older people. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying because I see the same thing.
I think the difference is that by the time you're 43, hopefully you're able to read the situation better and cut your losses earlier.
That's my point, though. Like, that doesn't change the timeline.
Right.
You know, so this person... They keep referencing their age. Like, I think at any age, you got to figure out your taste and be confident in that taste and lose the people that don't fit your taste.
Right.
Like, and again, as you get older, you should be better at it. But a lot of people aren't better at it.
I know.
You know, like I'm not better at it. I have my problems with this. I just going to my parents where they live in Boca, and like I meet single people there too, and having also doing the Golden Bachelor, like. Having people reach out more comfortably because of that show and when I make fun of that show, it is so like I think this person needs to get I know this is easier said than done, but like I don't think men in their 40s are thinking of their age the same way as this woman is.
Of course they're not.
I went on a date with a girl, she was in her 40s, and she was talking to me like I was 8 years old. She was like, oh, you wouldn't get it. You young guys, is this how people do this these days? I'm like, we would have been in high school together. She was like 41. I'm 39.
Well, I think there's this fear.
We are literally. We have the same references.
Right.
We know the same music. We watch Saved by the Bell. Okay, like I just it is so. I think a lot of people. Your words are your spells.
Yeah.
This person is speaking like someone who's like, how can I do this so close to death? Like,
well, she's afraid that everyone is thinking that about her, so she's trying to get ahead of it by saying that about herself.
Well, when you say it out loud, it's like when we talk about negative commenters.
Mm-hmm. You're giving them power.
We're giving them power, and there's not as many as we talk about.
Right.
Same with this woman.
We're beloved.
We are beloved. We are internet darlings. Okay. I'm saying this woman. I agree. Like, but if you say it, you gotta. I think the best thing they can do, twofold. Work on your language.
Yes.
Work on your language.
Words are your spells.
Words are your spells. You're not fucking almost dead. You got a lifetime to lead. You got a great life. You have friends and family who love you. Look, I'm doing the dating pep talk right now.
Right.
And then go hang out with your friends. Go hang out with the couple that's married 100 years. They would love to hang out with you so you can change up the dynamic a little bit. Go hang out with people and let them know you have a fun life and you're out there looking. Let them know.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be set up. Male, female, however you identify. This idea, and I think when you talk like this, I just...
Right, you make yourself a less exciting person to set up than...
I don't want to hang out with a friend that's like, oh, we're 40.
Well, you're playing with... She's at the table with rent money. Mm-hmm, right. Mm-hmm. And Bethany Frankel, obviously not like the smartest, wisest, most incredible person in the world, but I did read her book. I remember as someone in my 20s.
I think everyone could use a sip of Bethany.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, she's got her own issues, but she's got some good advice.
She's just a pain in the fucking ass woman.
Right. And I mean,
most people should be more of a pain in the ass.
And one thing I remember her saying in one of her books, and I read in my 20s, was like, if you go to the betting table with your rent money,
right,
you're gonna lose because you're like you're feeling like this desperate energy. If you're going for fun, you're gonna have more fun and you'll probably win more.
Absolutely. Scared money never wins. Is that the saying or something?
So, I do believe that.
I'm with you. I'm with Bethany. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we help this
easier
woman.
Said than done. I also want to say that.
What are the tangibles to work on? Your languaging. If you told me you're old and I'm your age, fuck off. You're not that fun. Sounds like I'm gonna have to like coach you up all the time.
Right.
You know? So
yeah, you want to be with someone who thinks that they're a catch, or you're not going to think they're a catch. Is the other part of it. Right. That's
a big part of it. Why am I here?
Right. If you don't even like you,
right?
Why should I like you?
Hang out with your friends. All my friends are married. Go hang out with their husbands.
Make it weird.
Well, I'm just saying, like, this is a big thing to me. People always say my friends are married. Okay, go hang out with both of them. Make a date. Make a date with your friends and their husbands. Men don't talk about who's single and who's looking. They get reminded of it when you're around and fun. You know who's fun?
Do you know how many times that's how I set people up?
Right.
I meet a cool person out somewhere that seems like nice and fun.
Right. You know,
and they're in the back of my head.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to be front of mind.
Agreed.
Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
Red flag or deal breaker. We love this game. We play it all the time if you're new here. Red flag or deal breaker. You go on a date, great date. One thing happens. Is it a red flag? You notice it and move on. Is it a deal breaker?
You're out.
You're out.
Let's hear it.
Go for it.
All right. Hi, J&J. I recently discovered your podcast and I absolutely love it.
Love a new listener.
It's my now number one activity for relaxing in the evening after a hard day at work. Love
Just
it.
a soothing,
listen in the bath.
Sweet nothings in their ears.
I, 38 female, matched with a guy, 40 male, on Tinder.
Old.
Two olds. I describe how a typical Sunday looks for me in my profile and have written, among other things, Sunday dinner with my family. Should she go out with you?
Yeah, I like this girl.
After texting 1 week and agreeing to go on a date with him, he texts me and asks me if I really see my family once a week, Sunday dinners, proceeding to say he thinks that's often and unusual. He then says that if we become a couple, we have to discuss how often I spend time with my family because a couple have to discuss and compromise about everything, and that a person should prefer to spend time with his or her partner and in his or her own home. Is this a red flag or a deal breaker?
What a fucking loser. This is a deal breaker. They haven't even gone on a date yet.
Yeah. That, to me, like, the issue is not that he, like, wants to spend less time with her family. It's that he's coming in so intensely hot so early with this.
Yeah, no, this is the problem with dating apps. Everyone is trying to make sure that whatever they walk into
is the perfect situation.
Right. And he's getting ahead of something that, like, he doesn't even know the dynamic.
He's trying to change her? He hasn't even met her.
He might like the Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
And to say it's strange for you until you see it. Right. Everything's strange if you don't do it.
You can't change someone until after you've already locked them in.
Right.
That's what I've learned.
Listen, if I dated someone and saw on their profile that you're already, like, bringing negativity in this, you haven't even met.
Right.
This is a conversation that happens 6 years into marriage.
Yes. It's a little much.
It's a lot much.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. If it's okay also if you see that and you're like, I want an orphan, not looking for someone, like, just don't go out with them. You don't have to tell them that they're doing it wrong just because it's not for you.
It's a bad
That's the weird part.
Right. You're totally right. This is emblematic of who you'll be dealing with.
Right.
Like, anything you bring up that they haven't gone through, like, to me, try it.
Right.
You can't. And again, if you don't want to try, I'm with you.
Totally
don't complain or don't try it or don't complain.
Right. It'd be like you matching with someone who lived in Westchester, and then you text them. You're like, you live in Westchester? Why don't you move to the city? Why would you? That seems a little far from the city, right?
And it said it on their profile. Right.
Like, that's the crazy part to me. Like, it's okay. It'd be okay. And you said this before. You don't want to date someone that doesn't live in the city.
If
Fine.
you took the railroad, I think I'm out.
Fine. But you're not going to, like, try to tell someone to change their life.
Absolutely.
Before you even meet them.
This is absolute insanity, but it's so funny that it's actually real because it's like people are doing this. You haven't even gotten the drink yet.
Right.
And you're talking about their Sunday night dinners.
Just don't go out with them.
End it.
All right.
Let's do another.
Let's do it.
Longtime listener of You Up, J-Train, and oversharing. Love all your pods and advice. Thanks for all you do. I've noticed a recent trend with the last few guys I've been on first dates with. Hoodies. Now, I recognize that I am in Boston and it's winter, so it's cold. But am I wrong to be a bit annoyed by the fact that I've spent my time doing my hair, makeup, and putting on a nice outfit only for guys to show up wearing a hoodie? What? You don't want my Red Sox hoodie on? What? I got it for free with points at Dunkin'. I was planning to write in last week after 2 dates where the guy was wearing a hoodie, and then it happened again. To be fair, the first 2 dates were coffee dates, which are intentionally more casual, but I was still wearing a nice sweater and jeans. But the third guy came to a dinner date wearing a hoodie. I also wanted to note I am 30 and going out with men in my age range. So it's not like these are young guys right out of college or anything like that. One of them even showed up in sweatpants.
Disgusting.
So red flag or deal breaker, your date shows up wearing a hoodie signed an overly formal batch.
Never going back to Boston.
Boston. This is very Boston,
It
by the
sounds
way.
like that.
And not only Boston. Listen, I do shows all over the country. I see men dressed in wild attire for a Saturday night.
I'm sure.
It is actually something I make fun of in a lot of towns, right? I say to the women, you guys all look beautiful. And the men, thank you for coming from Dick's Sporting Goods. You know, like they all just look like crazy. And so I think this happens with married men more. You know,
Have you ever worn a hoodie to a date?
Here's the thing. There are fashionable hooded sweatshirts, you know, so not all sweatshirts are the same. So, and this idea of like relaxed leisure, athleisure, that is in. So but the way they're describing it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like they're wearing their Patriots Super Bowl sweatshirt from 2013 or some shit.
Well, it is always a little weird when you show up to a date and you're like in heels or in like a going out top, and the person is like, again, looks like they could give a shit.
Right.
And I think that's why you dress up for an interview. You don't dress up for an interview so that you look great for like the person. You dress up to show that you care.
Right.
Right. Just to show that you're like that you care about being here and that you actually want the job.
I know, but it is so funny that Boston plays a big part of this for me. I'm from there. I'm not trying to talk shit about my hometown, but like,
do it.
You go out to you go out to a bar in Boston. You're like, is it a pajama party in here? What's going on? You know, like, and it depends where you're going. If you're a sports bar, of course, there's gonna be people in sports bar attire. I agree with you. There's a level of care and show. If you were on let's bring it back to the coffee date. You go, hey, let's get coffee Sunday at 2.
Okay.
Guy shows up in joggers and a Lululemon sweatshirt and a hat.
Right. Does it look thoughtful? That's my question.
Right.
Again, I don't really notice. I can tell you what a single guy in any my dates has ever worn. Like I don't really notice that, but I do notice. Do they look like they put in effort, or is the look like it's curated in some way? Like you can have a curated, relaxed athleisure outfit.
I'm with you. I listen. If a woman showed up in leggings and and like a set, so to speak, I wouldn't think twice of it on a
coffee date.
Yeah.
If she showed up in an old ratty sorority t-shirt,
I feel like who's
and like oversized
house
sweatpants.
Did you sleep at? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you'd be like, all right, like this person doesn't really care.
Right. But I guess the only empathy I have for it is like, you swim in the waters that you swim in. Like, I think in Boston, like the guys see other guys and how they're dressed and they go, this is what you can wear out.
Sure.
You know, I think like.
You're not in Palm Beach. I think there's like a.
Right. I just, but again, that's why certain areas have certain looks, you know, like, so. But I agree with you.
I mean, I'm a hamper girl, so I understand the urge.
If I went out with a Gen Z woman, Gen Z, they're hamper generation. Big sweatshirts, scrunchies, dads.
I was born in the wrong generation.
You could be wearing dad's, fishing cap.
Yeah.
But I know that's the look. Again, like, you have to account for the atmosphere. But also, I don't think that this woman's asking for much, though.
I agree. And I also think, like, again, it's okay. Some people don't care. Maybe are into that. Maybe there's women who kind of dress down and they're put at ease by that. I think it's okay to say I'm not going to go out with you again.
I think what you're saying is the correct answer of like, listen, hooded sweatshirt, is not the question here.
Right.
Did you feel that someone didn't care to go out with you? And if you felt that way, then it's a deal breaker.
You feel that someone put in a lot less effort than you did. And maybe again, for women, some women who are like, I like that. I also want to wear sweatpants.
Right. I don't know if it would be a deal if a woman showed up in like PJs to a date. I don't know if it would be a deal breaker for me. Like I
don't know if it would be a deal breaker for me either. Again, I think it would depend on like how sloppy they looked. It's about like the sloppiness, I think, of it, rather than like the actual outfit items.
Right.
Did you put in effort?
It's a tough one because I don't know.
Well, you also aren't dressed as nice as most women you go out with. I would imagine you're not like wearing like a going out top.
I got my back
waxed. Would you wear? Would you wear this on a date?
I would wear this on a date.
Yeah,
I would wear t-shirts and jeans.
I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah, with a hat. I went on a date recently. Wore pretty much what I'm wearing now.
Right.
And if they were underwhelmed by that, I would say good luck to you. Let's do one more.
See what's out there. All right. Dear J&J.
I love this red flag.
This is very funny. Dear J&J, thank you so much for all that you do. I have a red flag or deal breaker that I would love to get your opinion on. I matched with a seemingly gorgeous man about a month ago. We met once, and there was the initial thought of, he's not as tall or as muscular as he looked on Instagram. However, he's still a very good-looking and polite guy.
That's like the worst description I could ever think.
Good-looking?
No, if someone's like, oh, I went on a date with him. Not as tall as I thought he'd be, but good-looking, polite. I'd be like,
good-looking is nice.
I don't know. We've gone way down from seemingly gorgeous man.
That's true, yeah.
You know?
A couple of weeks go by. We talked about getting together again, but we're both busy, and I'm not absolutely lit up by him. Intrigued, but not on the edge of my seat. He posts this picture on his Instagram story, his public story. It is so terribly edited, jaw on the floor. I sent it to one of my girls, and she said, block him, LOL. It's just such a terrible gym edit. So red flag or deal breaker, seemingly gorgeous and attractive man posts an overly obvious photoshopped gym mirror selfie to his public story. I guess it makes me wonder, if you hide behind Photoshop, what else are you hiding? Or maybe it's not that deep. I don't Photoshop my pictures, but no shame if you want a little retouch. But this obvious? Crazy. Sincerely, A doesn't want her man Photoshopping his pictures more than her batch.
Okay, now she sent the picture.
This guy has veins popping out of his arm.
The picture, it is somewhat wild. He looks like Johnny Bravo.
It's like the Hulk.
His body, like, I think it was Photoshop. Like, this isn't like...
Oh, she's saying it definitely is. I'm really bad at this stuff.
I don't think his arms are. The lighting, so he looks like an anime Street Fighter character. Like, he is jacked beyond belief, but I don't think the jacked is Photoshopped as much as he cinched his waist.
Yeah, I'm saying he has curves.
Right.
That's the weird part.
He is triangle on top of triangle.
Yeah.
So, which, like...
Is that a male? Is that even a look that men want? Don't they want to be, like, straight?
I don't know. It's baggy sweatpants. This guy is Gen Z coded. The hair is, like, the male, like...
Yeah.
What is that hairstyle that men do? They're, like, doing, like, a tussle.
There's a look, yes.
Front.
What is it called?
It's like the TikTok hair. It's very... I see, like, younger and younger, they have this, like... front that's been like done, like feathered,
like curled.
Yeah. And he kind of has that thing going on. Mop top. He's got a mop top.
That's that generation's look.
To me, what do you think, Jordan?
Here's the thing. I would be out at a mirror selfie for any man, personally.
I post a lot of mirror selfies just to put up my dates.
Right, but they're not to show off your body.
Excuse me?
I mean, maybe they are.
I thought
Perhaps they are. I think
I don't put up a picture to look bad. So
right. And this is like a thirst trap.
It is him at the gym.
It's clearly a thirst trap.
With a tank top on, arms showing.
I'm out at a mirror selfie. I cannot. Okay, here's the thing. I am not good at this. I didn't even know it was photoshopped. It looks...
It's now only the waist that does it. And like...
He almost has like breasts though. A little bit. Like doesn't it look like...
I mean, this guy's in great shape.
If this is...
Okay, let me defend this guy.
He is like veiny. He has like veiny big arms.
Here's the thing. He didn't need to Photoshop this. He is in great shape.
Right.
That is what's so crazy about this is like...
I think men overestimate how much... Like I think men think like to women... bigger the better muscles. Like,
well, the ones that respond, it's like who do you hear from? That's who you go towards.
Right.
So
that's whose type he is. So that's who he's with.
Right. Well, but also, if he's getting messages to his thirst traps, it's from the people who like it. You never hear from the people who are like, ugh, what is he doing?
That's true.
You know, like,
it's a little much.
Right. It's not for me. Like, genuinely or normally, that's not what comes back to you.
Here's my other reason I don't like gym selfies.
Go for it.
More time spent at the gym, the less time they're spending working. And
this guy could be a model. Then maybe this is part of his.
Do you know what?
I hear you. Like, why?
It's like to me, it's like for more for women. For me, I'm like, how do you have so much time? Like to get those arms takes like many hours in the gym. I'm usually like, I feel like it's inversely correlated to career success. Maybe that's unfair.
as fair as I think it's fair. I'm with you. That's why I look the way I do. All my time is working. No time for the gym. I don't know. This is so. It's also weird because it's a dude.
Right.
I mean, if we want to be honest about this, like to Photoshop your pictures as a guy just seems
another
like,
element. Yeah.
It's like, what are you after? What are you looking for? What validation do you need?
That goes with the gym selfies, I think, too.
And when I see women who post these types of pictures, I think that less.
Okay.
I'm more, like hot or not.
Right. I mean, I still think of that, but
would I date someone? I'm sure you still think that. I'm just saying, like, as far as like, what does it mean to what they need from validation? You see that a lot on the internet from like angry men, like, like the comments. But
I think it's for both people.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know. The Photoshop thing, if someone's really done up and has an aesthetic on their Instagram, I'm a little turned off by it.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I think the Photoshop thing is like, if you can tell that it's Photoshopped, it's not a good look for anyone.
Listen, we're all doing a version of Photoshop. There's a reason you want the picture taken higher than lower. And, you want to look good. I get it. But then there's a point of like, you've gone above and beyond.
Right.
Where if
this
you've
means
gone,
a lot to you.
Right. That you go, if it means this much to me and I know I'm fucked up.
Right.
Like you can only be more fucked up.
Yeah, and then I think the other part of it, especially with a man who does this, is in my mind, like a man who does this is going to be very, very judgmental about what you look like that.
Right.
In that way. Like if he's, because we are our own worst critics about the thing, like that's the thing we judge other people on.
Right. The
so
hand
I would,
points, 3 point back at you.
Exactly. I would be out because I'm like, this guy cares so much about looks that he's Photoshopping his own pictures. What is he going to think about how I look if I gain 5 pounds?
Right. It's also a little bit when you're photoshopping, it's like, what are you striving for?
Right. What's important to you?
Right. Are you looking for better all the time? Like, is this like, I think it's a deal breaker for me.
Deal breaker as well.
Well,
but we did it.
We solved dating again in a short hour and a half.
We did it. Proud of us.
Merry New Year, as the people say.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
More you up in 2025.
Yeah, we love doing the show. I love doing the show. I'll speak for myself.
I love doing the show as well.
So we love doing the show. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being a listener to the show. We'll be back on Friday.
Bye.
Boom.
You Up is produced by Candice Maniga and Shannon Sassone. Edited by Emily Freed. Social media by Candice Maniga. Booking by Adley Freelander. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to our show. Send your emails to youup@betches.com. And check out you.up.podcast on Instagram.